I just have one thing I want to say.
Yeah, please.
Go Navy, beat Army. Stephen Tiedemann. I'm the Assistant Attorney General, Principal Counsel at the Maryland Military Department. Born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland, Woodlawn area, Catonsville. Went to Woodlawn Senior High School. Athletics, I wrestled, was on the golf team. Really wanted to go to the Naval Academy. That was my goal all through high school. Truth is, I had gone down to Annapolis as a middle schooler and had seen those white uniforms marching around Annapolis, and I thought they really looked cool. Like most decisions young men make in life, it's based upon what you think is cool, not necessarily always thinking it all the way through. But it didn't take long to realize that being involved with the military and that sort of a career was important to me. It was important to me to support my country. My country's been really good, and the state of Maryland have been really good to my folks and my family, and I thought that was a good place for me to be. Went to the Naval Academy for 4 years. The thing about the Naval Academy is that there's a saying when I went there that it's a hard place to be, but it's a great place to be from. But I can tell you what it taught me was duty of honor, relationship to your community, and support of the good, and always being honorable and answering questions truthfully. There's just a way of living that you're taught there. So that was important in how I laid out the rest of my life. I was injured and had become ill while I was there, and ultimately was considered a disabled vet, 100% service-connected disabled vet. You can't go to sea under those circumstances, so my country took care of me, that's for sure. They gave me some money to go to graduate school for business, and then I ended up getting money to go to law school. I had studied to be an engineer, and was a pretty horrible engineer. I wouldn't walk on a bridge I designed, is the joke I tell people. Not the best engineering student by a long shot. They have a vocational rehabilitation program for people to get a new career if things don't work out in the military. And so they paid for me to go to law school. At the time, the only example of lawyers on the TV was LA Law, hotshot LA attorneys that drove sports cars and went out to drink or they were in court, which is not real life. As it turns out, once you go to law school, you graduate, you pass the bar, you realize that's not really what you want to do, that there are better things to do than think you're some sort of hotshot attorney. And so I ended up, having a career as a lawyer, and I've been doing it for 28 years now. I had no concept that I would be an attorney for the government. I thought I'd be in private practice. Didn't really think about even being a prosecutor or a public defender. I was going to be a lawyer that goes into court and tries cases. Fight for my client and be on the battlefield sort of attitude. And I did that for many, many years. As you get older, you realize that public service sometimes is not considered the best way to go because of money. I went for the money for a while there and worked long and hard, sacrificed a lot, sacrificed time with my family and time with loved ones. I can tell you that I paid the price like most lawyers do with that. It wasn't until just recently that this particular position opened up and decided to apply because it's right up my alley. That military background, the default of yes sir, yes ma'am, that sort of thing is very comfortable for me. I understand it, it makes sense, it's not scary to me. And I also know how to deliver messages to senior people. That mindset works for me. The Maryland Military Department has 30 plus facilities. Some of them are camps, some of them are bases, some of them are armories. This particular building is where the headquarters are. The Adjutant General of Maryland, she is the highest ranking officer in Maryland, Major General Janine Burkhead. She's a 2-star general. So this is where her offices are and her support staff. She has a JAG Corps component here, the Judge Advocate General officers who are here. They handle kind of the military end of things, military law. My job here as an Attorney General, I'm not part of the JAG office. I don't answer to the JAG office. And in fact, I don't directly answer to Major General Burkhead. So she's my client. The agency is my client, right? And I owe them a duty of loyalty and obligation and all the legal professional obligations that any lawyer owes their client. My boss is Attorney General Brown, and my leader is the deputies that work for him. It's a brilliant setup because it allows me to provide legal advice to a client who is not directly reporting on my promotability or anything like that. I mean, so I give the best advice I can to that client. The point is if I ever had to have a hard discussion, I could have that discussion with the Major General and be brutally honest and frank, respectful, and frank about whatever advice I had to give. For the last stint of my career, this would be just a wonderful capstone for me to feel like maybe I'm making a difference. And if you will go through this building, you'll see there's tons of young men and women who are at different levels of their career, each of them making their way for the state of Maryland and the U.S. government in their own way, in the best way they can. And I felt if I could find some way to make things better for them and better for everybody that chooses to serve, that would be wonderful. What you really see are people that are trying to find something to believe in, right? When I was young and in the military, that's what completed me at the time. I felt like I had something to believe in. And so to have this opportunity is a real blessing. And it's a blessing for me and my family.